I'm Casey Johnson. I'm a mental wellness counselor at USM Student Counseling Services and also a faculty advisor for USM's chapter of Active Minds.
I'm Amanda Kirtland. I'm one of the counselors on staff as well as the assistant director here.
I'm Frances Clark, one of the licensed professional counselors here at Student Counseling Services. I feel like self-care is a big component of the hierarchy of needs right now. And I think students should focus on self-care in 4 areas. That would be the physical, the emotional, the psychological, and spiritual. Not meaning religion, but more of as, we all have these beliefs and values that kind of guide us through life. So different stuff like meditation, becoming one with nature will be good for spiritual self-care.
Getting outside, getting away from screens, kind of giving our mind and our eyes a break and kind of enjoying the good weather, the cooler weather, is something that can be really helpful for students and really anybody right now.
I spend more time outdoors. I make it a point of getting out of this building for lunch. I sit outside and enjoy the scenery. As far as emotional, connecting with friends that bring you joy or family that you love. It could be reading a book. It could be connecting with your feelings. Journaling is a big one for emotional self-care. As far as psychological, just learning new hobbies. I encourage that all the time. Reading a book that's not associated with school is another big one. As far as physical, taking care of yourself as far as sleep.
Have a good sleep schedule. Poor sleep is pretty common across all psychiatric disorders, so making sure that you have consistent sleep is really difficult in college. And so I would say focusing on that is really important.
Can't underline enough the importance of getting adequate rest.
Trying to have a good bedtime routine, going to sleep at the same time every night, trying to get a good 6-7 hours of sleep every night, really important.
Eating properly, getting water, the basic stuff that you think that, we just take for granted is very important.
Also trying to eat healthy, very important. Trying to eat balanced meals, not just eating junk food or fast food is really helpful.
Eating enough, eating good food.
And also taking in enough water.
So just making sure you're making small deposits daily in all 4 of those areas are crucial to self-care. And it helps give you that balance of school, if you have work, if you have relationship stressors. Kind of keeps you grounded and in a happy, stable place.
I also think it's important to be aware of kind of like what your warning signs are if you start kind of missing, school or class, or your gas tank's on empty, your room's a mess. Knowing that those are probably some good data points that, hey, I need to pause, I need to recollect, I need to recharge. Being able to acknowledge what's going right and then being cautious of those warning signs, I think is really important.
I think balance in personal life, balance in stressful school, balance in work.
I would say to have good boundaries around your time. Try to create consistent routines throughout your day and throughout the week where you're doing similar stuff the same times a day, that sort of thing throughout your week. But also having good boundaries around how much time you're spending doing work and taking some time off, taking some time for yourself.
Just make time for myself, even if it's taking a leisurely walk in the afternoons.
How boundaries around how much time you're spending on your phone or in front of a laptop.
I detox from my phone more now because it's so negative. You're hearing about deaths, you're hearing about, trauma and a whole lot of violence and stuff. So I learned to disconnect from the digital world.
And making sure that you're penciling in wellness related activities like physical activities like working out, like mindless activities, maybe just hanging out, maybe watching in person a sporting event or something like that. So having some social activities as well, being connected to others is a big deal.
Trying to stay connected to people.
Just having an expansive social network to kind of talk to and vent to or get things out.
I would say one of the most common things in college too is anxiety, social anxiety. Developmentally, students are in this mindset of worrying about what other people think about them, maybe worrying about being judged negatively by others, either of not being noticed and not being noticed by people or by their peers, or either being noticed and being judged negatively by their peers for something that's feeling out of place or something like that.
It's so easy to focus on like all the things that stress us out or the things that aren't going right. So I really think it's important for people to sort of inventory like what's going right, what's going good, what are the things that I'm doing either intentionally or unintentionally that are working. And being able to write those down, maybe putting them on some type of whiteboard or putting them in the notes section of your phone, so that you can come back to that and know that those are kind of like these touch points that, hey, I know if I'm struggling, I can go back to these things.
And those kind of worries and social anxiety will often cause people to avoid certain situations. So avoid going into class late, maybe avoid mingling in a social group or with people who they find interesting or would like to talk to. And really those avoidance behaviors are what is so damaging in response to anxiety, because we learn when we avoid something that it does mitigate the anxiety temporarily. And so the brain automatically kind of goes back to that and wants to avoid any situation in the future that would make one feel uncomfortable. And so being aware of that process as it's playing out kind of in your mind and in your body, and not avoiding those situations is really key. Trying to be okay with feeling a little bit uncomfortable and still doing things that you value, like interacting with someone socially or going to class so that you can do well and make a good grade.
If you're on a college campus, get connected to your resources. Know that they are at your fingertips. So here at Southern Miss, there's tons of people and organizations that want to be a support to you, and a lot of them are available to you for free. So being aware, go and doing a quick, usm.edu search about what are the services that are available. Never wait for something really intense to be the trigger for reaching out. You can reach out when things just really aren't quite right before it gets too bad. So certainly being able to say that for yourself and then encourage people that you care about or people that you're worried about that they can seek help to.
Understanding that it's courageous for you to reach out for help, know that you have resources on campus, and that you should utilize them, and don't be afraid, bring a friend and say, let's do it together if it's some stuff y'all struggling with. We have several different resources that can kind of address counseling needs here on campus.